And hi again, everyone, and welcome to Cox 4's Nola Prep Baseball and Softball Show. I'm Eric Ritchie, alongside Hahnville head coach Jerry Nugent. What a season they're having as we bring you this 30-minute program inside Louisiana Baseball and Softball Academy. Coach, what a run as your first year as the head coach now at Hahnville. 18-8, you're undefeated as we tape this program in district play. What a great start to the season it's been.
Yes, it's been a heck of a ride. We knew going into the season we had some talent, and we kind of took the approach of it's not going to be a matter of if, it's just going to be a matter of when. And luckily for us, the girls got off to a very, very strong start, and we're really, really proud of the work they've been putting in. Over
the next 30 minutes, we'll talk to Coach Nugent, find out a little bit more about some of these players, these Lady Tigers that are behind us as well. We'll go in the cage, on the mound, meet some of the top players here for Hahnville. We'll also, again, talk to some of our friends here at LBSA, an infield instruction we're going to get today as well. And on the high school baseball side, we will meet the Shaw Eagles. But let's just talk a little bit about you, and everybody sees Coach Nugent and the softball. Mount Carmel, 14 years. You took over as a 24-year-old. First of all, tell me about just that setup, the start of your softball coaching career, those 14 years. You go to the postseason every year, Sulphur 7 times, a state championship in '08. What was it like starting there as a young guy and developing your coaching roots?
It was quite a humbling experience, actually. Just I happened to be in the right place at the right time to get a head coaching job at that young of an age. More or less, the program was in transition, and they were looking to bring in some younger coaches to kind of build, to, like you said, lay some roots in the community and kind of get a program rolling. And I was fortunate enough to be in the right place at the right time. I added a background and with a little bit of travel ball and stuff, and so I was able to get the job. And early on, it was a struggle just because there wasn't much of a softball culture there. It was more of a volleyball culture, but over the years we just kind of stayed strong with the program, and we were able to build it up into a state champion, which was very gratifying. And I think that starting from the ground up made it that much more of a great experience, just to be able to see it from its inception all the way to the end.
Certainly a rewarding experience for Coach and what he was able to establish there at Mount Carmel. Now, the last 3 years, you moved to Hahnville. I know your wife got a job as in Hahnville as well. So for 3 years, you've been an assistant coach. How were those 3 years, and how did that help you prepare for the next phase of your coaching stint as a head coach of being an assistant of the team that you eventually have now taken over for?
Well, I think those 3 years were invaluable. Being a young head coach all those years, I really didn't have a coaching mentor, so to speak. I was kind of on my own as the head coach, and luckily I was able to meet Kenneth Vial from Hahnville, who was an experienced coach, and he and I developed a rapport and a relationship over the years that started out as professional respect and kind of morphed into a friendship over the years. And he was instrumental in getting me over to Hahnville, which I think is probably the best job in the state of Louisiana as for a high school softball coach. But having those 3 years under him, not only to learn from him, but to learn the school district, to learn the community, to get to know the parents and the players, and every program has its own little unique intricacies, and it was an invaluable experience for me, not just from a softball standpoint, but just to get my feet wet in the community, and to kind of see how it's done somewhere else was very, very important.
Coach talked about his team getting off to a fast start, and literally a fast start. I know that first game against Chappelle, a back and forth game that you win with the walk-off home run. I mean, that was early in the season, and just kind of, I guess, give us a little bit of the background of this team. What has been the reason for the success this year? And I know you lost some very talented players that graduated from last year's team.
Yes, and that was a big concern for us going into the season. Was we did lose some very talented players. Taylor Hogan, Lauren Seymour, Kaylin Morales were tremendous players for this program, and were a critical part of its success for many years. That being said, we knew we had Mason Martindale and Lauren Beadle and Madison Freeman, Priscilla Prince, and a lot of other players returning. and we knew it was our job to combine those players with some very talented young players that we brought in this year. And you know, like you said, in that first game, it couldn't have worked out better. Obviously, to win on a walk-off home run is very dramatic, but it showed our team early, you know, that they could overcome adversity and they could win those kind of games. And the funny story about that is Martindale was leading off the inning and Prince was on deck, and we were actually about to get caught by the daylight because it was before daylight savings times. And I told one of them, I said, one of you needs to hit a home run right now so we can get this over with because we're about to get called for the light. And you know, not in my wildest dreams that I think it was going to happen that way, but Priscilla came up with a big hit.
We taped this show midweek. The show airs Thursday and Friday on Cox 4. So we taped this show before you get ready to play HL Bourgeois. And if that wasn't big enough, and Bourgeois, one of those teams right there on your heels in District 7-5A, but it's a very special game for you. It's, the breast cancer awareness. Coach, if you can, tell us a little bit about the background, and I know it's something very near and dear to your heart.
Yes, sir. You know, we always want to do something to give back to the community, and that was a big part of when I interviewed for the job. A big part of what I stressed to the committee when I interviewed was that, you know, we do want to do some sort of community service to give back. My mother's a breast cancer survivor, which so obviously it makes it a cause near and dear to my heart. But just in the fall and interacting with a lot of our players and their families, I came to realize we've had a lot of families in our softball program that have been impacted by breast cancer.
Your mom's going to be throwing out the first pitch along with a teacher from Hahnville, is that correct?
Correct. My mother and then Miss Maria Concian, who's been a math teacher at Hahnville for 28 years. Her daughter's a senior, a dance team captain, and you know, both survivors, both very strong women, and we asked them to throw out the first pitch. We're also going to be recognizing those who have passed on in our softball family, as well as, you know, other survivors that are going to be in attendance at the game.
Well, it's time for us to take our first break here on the Cox 4's Nola Prep Baseball and Softball Show. Much more with Coach Nugent coming up. When we return, we're going to meet some of these girls and some of the key to success this year for the Hahnville Lady Tigers. We'll also later on meet that baseball team from Shaw. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this. Cox 4's Nola Prep Baseball and Softball is brought to you by Louisiana Baseball and Softball Academy, and by Cintas, and by Royal Honda.
Giving you a great deal is what makes Royal Honda #1 in the greater New Orleans area. Visit us on Veterans in Metairie and RoyalHonda.com.
Royal Honda, the dealership that's different.
He has a lifetime 331-97 record. We're joined by Hahnville head coach Jerry Nugent. Welcome back to Cox 4's Nola Prep Baseball and Softball program here from Louisiana Baseball and Softball Academy, right in the Elmwood area. Coach, you girls had a chance to kind of work out a little bit. Great place to kind of work out and kind of get ready for the season, or dive in if you get a little rain delay.
Oh, it's terrific. I've brought my teams here before. It's as good as it gets as far as you know, a facility. It offers everything. You can work your defense, you can work your hitting, base running, anything you need to do to get ready, and you don't have to worry about the elements. So
No
it's first class all the way.
You guys have had to deal with it all season long, but now it's one of our favorite parts of the program where we meet your players. And first off, we're going to go in the cage, not just one hitter, but a pair of players, both of them juniors.
Yes, both our juniors that are here today, Madison Freeman, our right fielder, and Mason Martindale, our third baseman, are two of the key cogs in the wheel as far as our success this season. Madison's what I like to call our grunt player, which is ironic because her dad was a Marine. But Madison is one of the most unselfish hitters you'll ever see. She's hitting right around 300 right now, which is a respectable average. But what those numbers don't show is the way Madison approaches her at bats. She's very selfless. She leads the team in sacrifice bunts. She's second on the team in sacrifice flies. She knows how to hit behind the runner. She understands the concept of putting the ball in play with 2 strikes. And she does a lot of the little things that put us in positions to score that don't necessarily show up in the batting average and RBI stats. But she's about as good as it gets when it comes to situational type hitting.
And Mason at third base has been clutch as well.
Oh, Mason is just, she's a third-year starter, and Mason is about as clutch as it gets. She's hitting right around 430 right now. Hits for power, hits for average, can hit to all fields, hits the ball extremely hard. Has one of the hardest balls off the bat that I've ever coached. And when it comes to a worker, Mason puts in the extra time. She has a lot of God-given talent, but I can't tell you the number of times I've gone to the field on a Sunday on a day off to do some work in the office, and Mason's out there in the cages. Last night after a game, she was in the batting cages after her teammates were gone, and that's just the type of worker she is. She puts in the effort and puts in the work into everything she does, pays a lot of attention to detail, and it pays dividends on the field for her. She's our leader in hits and RBIs right now.
Without further ado, the M&M girls in the cage.
I'm Madison Freeman. I'm number 4. I play right field, and I'm class of 2016. My approach when I get up to the plate is usually just to look for my pitch. But most of the time, batting second hole, I have to do my job. If there's someone on base, I really try to hit towards the right side, depending where they are. But most of the time, I have to bunt, and really, my job is just to get the bunt down. Runner on second base, and I want to move her to third, I'd try to get a ground ball to the right side or a pop-up in case she needs to tag up. Runner on third, pretty much the same thing. To the right side, ground ball or a pop-up would be fine. A pop-up really anywhere, just in case she needs to tag up again. If anybody wants to know anything about me, I'm a fighter. I like to win. I'm really competitive, and I just like to get the job done. I'm a grunt. A grunt, if you know anything about the military, is the person that does all the dirty work. They do the jobs that people don't really like to do, and that's what I have to do. I have to get the bunt down, or I have to pop up sometimes, even though I don't want to. I have to do whatever I have to do to get the job done. This season, some games are a little rough, but I think we're really good. We've got a lot of talent on the team, and we're definitely a bunch of fighters. I mean, whenever we're down, we like to scrap up a few runs.
I'm Mason Martindale. I'm number 1. I play third base, class of 2016. My approach when I step into the batter's box is I'm looking for my one pitch on that first swing, then after that I have to do what's best for the team. When I get up to the plate, I try to get inside, crowd the plate a little bit, and I want to throw my bat head first. When I have runners in scoring position, I would like to try to hit it to the right side or hit a deep fly ball so that they can tag up. Coach Nugent being our head coach, he's been assistant in the past, and having him as our head coach, he's been able to grow with the teammates that are a little bit older, and I think he does well with all of the girls. Hahnville softball, I think a reason of the success is that we do have a lot of talent on the team. Our coach knows what he's doing, and I think we go out there and we scrap and we fight to the end every time. Me as a player, I like people to know that I do it for the love of the game, and that I'm here to be a leader to the younger teammates. And just Hahnville, I hope everyone comes support us and sees what we're capable of doing.
Certainly some talented hitters there in the cage. Now we go on the mound where Lauren Beadle has showed her senior leadership all year so far.
Oh, Lauren's been huge for us this year. This is her 3rd year as our number 1 pitcher. And Lauren has experience, which you can't put a price tag on when it comes to this type of game. She throws a variety of pitches. She mixes her pitches well, changes speeds well, can go in and out, up and down, and she's a smart pitcher, which, like I said, that goes a long way. She knows how to battle her way out of tough situations, and I think that'll bring us a long way in the postseason.
Let's go on the mound with Lauren Beadle.
I'm Lauren Beadle, number 45. I'm a pitcher in class of 2015. I have about 7 pitches, including a fastball. This here would be a fastball. This is a changeup, a screwball, which I hold the same as a rise ball with different spin. This is a curveball, which I have a faster one and a slower one. This is my faster. A drop ball I hold just like a fastball with different spin. And then I have a slow curve, which is just like this, and I spin it from underneath. I started pitching when I was about 9 years old. I never really was going to be a pitcher. I did it out of necessity. And after I started, I just stuck with it, and now I'm where I'm at today. The past couple years, I have been a starter. It was good for me as a freshman I didn't start, but I was behind a very successful pitcher, and I was able to see how things worked. So I knew whenever I started my sophomore year and my junior year, I was very comfortable because I knew the way things were in a high school game, and I just felt like that gave me even more experience. My setup on the rubber, I usually have my front foot on the rubber, and then my back foot's off, which in high school that is legal. And then I have a rock back, and then I just explode and try to get out as far as possible. I think it's really good to have a great relationship with your catcher. Maddie LeBlanc, she's the catcher for me at Hahnville, and she's been catching for me since I was about 10 years old when I started. So over the past 7 years, we've got a great relationship going, and I really like having her catching for me. This season, we've had some rough games, but I feel like with so much talent on the team and we have great team chemistry, that it's helped us a lot, and we have a lot of fight towards the end of games. Our district has definitely given us some tough games, which I think has proven that it will help us in the postseason. It has shown that we have the fight to win at any time. We just have to put it all out on the field.
Lauren getting the job done. You can kind of see that leadership right there, and also, of course, giving props to Madison LeBlanc behind the plate as well.
Maddie's a tremendous ball player. She's a second-year starter. She's a sophomore. Started every game as a freshman. Has caught pretty much every pitch Lauren's thrown, and does a real good job of handling our pitching staff. Is a workhorse behind the plate. Understands the value of framing the ball, and I can't say enough good things about her. She's got a bright future ahead of her in softball.
Time for us to take a break. We'll shift gears and talk baseball when we return and learn a little bit more about Kirk Bollinger's team. But we still have much more to go here on the Nola Cox 4 Prep Baseball and Softball Show from LBSA. Cox 4's NOLA Prep Baseball and Softball is brought to you by Louisiana Baseball and Softball Academy, and by Cintas, and by Royal Honda.
Giving you a great deal is what makes Royal Honda #1 in the greater New Orleans area. Visit us on Veterans in Metairie and RoyalHonda.com.
Royal Honda, the dealership that's different.
I'm Kirk Bollinger, head baseball coach, Archbishop Shaw High School. Well, typically we're a bunch of hard-nosed kids. It's been a tough one. It's been some up and downs. We got off to a little bit of a slow start, then we got hot.
Matt Keller, number 10, catcher, class of 2016. We're starting off kind of slow this year, but with hitting. But the pitchers are doing a great job of throwing strikes and keeping us in ball games. But right now, really, once we start executing with the bats, I think we'll be all right.
Jason Eni, number 6, class of 15, and infield and pitcher. I think we're swinging the bats real well. We just have to come through with that clutch hit in the right time.
Caden Reed, number 9, center field, class of 2015. We're hitting the ball hard. We just can't get that key hit to, push us over the teams. But I feel like in the end, it's gonna come through.
Well, something about this team that I think separates us is is the bondage we have. You know, a lot of us, we've been playing together since we were younger, so we're close friends, and that's one thing, you know, that keeps us going.
I fully expect us to turn this thing around. Our players are way too good. They have to come out, they have to play with confidence, they have to play with a lot of energy from start to finish. We have to play 7 complete innings every single game because this schedule is a very difficult one. There are no cupcakes on the schedule, and every game out here is a battle, especially in the Catholic League.
The Catholic League is really about throwing strikes, you know, because everybody in there, they play smart baseball, they're well coached. So the Catholic League, you know, first off, it starts with throwing strikes, and then after that, it goes to hitting.
It's probably definitely the hardest in the state, but at the end, it's gonna help us like in playoffs because we'll play all the hard teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely tough. I mean, every school has a really good pitcher, and I feel like in the end, just seeing these pitchers is going to help us in the playoffs a lot.
Try to take it one game at a time, and the goal is just to make the playoffs and see what we can do from there.
Whenever we play our best ball, I mean, we have a chance to play with anybody.
We're trying from the first inning to the 7th inning, and we're never going to give up that. We're going to go all the way.
He was on 3, he was on me. 1, 2, 3.
Eagles! My name is Brian LaBruza. I'm the fitness instructor here at the LBSA. I have Mason Despo and Michael O'Brien. These are 2 of my clients, and what we're doing today is speed, agility, and strength training. What I'm going to demonstrate right here is box jumps. Go ahead, Michael. And what he did just now, it's an explosive movement with an agility drill. So box jumping is all about lower half explosiveness, and it's going to help with any type of athletic movement, whether it's baseball or softball, volleyball, basketball, gymnastics. It all starts from your lower half, and this helps with explosiveness off the ground with agility. What we're going to demonstrate right now is similar to what we were doing before. That was explosiveness and quickness drill. What we're going to do here is body control as we're exploding off the ground. So he's going to jump up and twist in the air and land. And what that does is it's a change of direction movement, but you're also controlling your body during that movement. So just like whenever you're fielding a ground ball, sometimes you have to change directions real quickly in an explosive movement. Even though you're not exploding upwards, but you are exploding laterally, but you still have to be under control while you're fielding that ground ball. And this right here demonstrates that as he's exploding off the ground, he still has to control his body and able to spin and land on there, flat-footed and under control. The next drill that Mason Despo is gonna demonstrate is rope fitness, similar to rope fitness, where you have to get in an athletic position, make sure your core is tight, and you're working your upper body as you're moving the ropes. So in essence, you're getting a total body workout just by moving these ropes up and down. What we're going to start with right here, we're going to do big slams, and it simulates as if you have a medicine ball in your hand and you're slamming the medicine ball, but it's just going right above your head and slamming it down. So it's working your whole core, your back, your torso, as well as your legs, because you're controlling the rope. Mason Despo is going to begin with an athletic position, get an athletic position. Okay, we're gonna work our arms unilaterally, so we're working one arm at a time, but simultaneously alternating the arms. And what that works is, it works your core, it works your arms, it works your shoulders, it works your back, your lats, your glutes, your hamstrings, your thighs, and your calves. You're getting a total body workout in just by moving these ropes up and down, making waves. We're here with the TRX bands, Mason Despo, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a lat row, as if you're on a machine and you're rowing, working your lat, which is your whole back. By doing this on a TRX band, you're only using your body weight, and with it being isolateral, you have to control it while you're moving. So you have to keep your core tight, and you're working one arm each individually, but at the same time. So your stabilizing muscles are firing as well as your strength building muscles are firing. What I want to discuss right now is the importance of high school players and athletes to understand that it is very important, even though the season's in session, you still have to get your training in at least twice a week. Position players, pitchers, catchers, you do a lot of rotation drills when you're hitting, when you're fielding, a lot of agility drills. However, you still need to get your training in. in order to get your training in, you should do it within a 24-hour period after you play your game. So if you have a game on Monday, either right after your game, if you have enough energy, or the next day, you should get your training in within that 24-hour period so that you have time to recover for the next 2 days. If you get your training in on a day, if you don't get your training in on that following day that you play, and you train 2 days later, then your body's got to recover from your game, then you train, then your body's got to recover again, and then you probably play again. So that's just too much stress on your body. So it's very important to get your training in within a 24-hour period. With that being said, it is also very important that you just don't neglect your training while you're in season. It's just as important as your off-season training. You modify your workouts. If you want to do any type of training, whether it's fitness training or hitting lessons, you can contact the LBSA and they can get in touch with me, and I'll be sure to get back with you.
Cox 4's Nola Prep Baseball and Softball is brought to you by Louisiana Baseball and Softball Academy, and by Cintas, and by Royal Honda.
Giving you a great deal is what makes Royal Honda #1 in the greater New Orleans area. Visit us on Veterans in Metairie and RoyalHonda.com.
Royal Honda, the dealership that's different.
Just about to wrap things up here on Cox 4's Nola Prep Baseball and Softball Show. Back here again with Coach Nugent and his Hahnville Lady Tigers. Coach, kind of an open-ended question. What do you want people to know about your program and what these girls have done on the field so far this year?
I would just like people to know that they've been working hard since May, really, to get ready for this season. You know, they went through summer workouts, they've gone through the fall, they worked very hard this spring, and it's paying dividends on the field. You can see in our record that we're doing very well. We're ranked in the top 10. We're looking to make our push now at state. We've got 7 games coming up in the next 8 days, which will be kind of a grind, but with the weather and the way things have been going, we've been used to it. But you know, we've really grown as a team this year. We've got, you know, I can't say enough good things about them. We have some experience, we have some young players, and they've kind of meshed together well, and it's showing some results out on the field.
Well, you've done a tremendous job, not only obviously on the softball field in the community, but a Teacher of the Year award recently handed over too as well, right?
Yeah, who said coaches can't teach? You know, I'm actually very, very proud of that. I always preach to them. Lauren Beadle back there was an academic all-state selection this year as well, and I preach to all our players that that's the most important stat that they'll ever have, is what's in that grade point average, because, you know, long after we're all too old or sports have passed us by, that's what's going to sustain us. So I'm a big preacher of academics.
Well, we're pleased to have you on the show, and this guy right here is creating leaders as we speak and creating a lot of wins for Hahnville as well. Coach, best of luck to you. Thanks for being on the program.
Thanks so much for having us.
All right, let's take our final goodbye here from Louisiana Baseball and Softball Academy. You've been watching the Cox 4 Nola Prep Baseball and Softball Show. Good night, everyone.
Good night.